So in today's video, I'm going to be building a wooden table while using the Apple Vision Pro. How do I get rid of it? It is. I'm actually starting to hate this app. I will admit, I'm kind of clumsier with this thing on too. Oh no, the Apple Vision Pro just restarted. This is turning into a disaster.
What are you doing?
Oh my gosh, this table looks incredible. So I envision having a table right here. Like, just to give you guys a sense of what I'm looking at. Here, we're gonna find a way to show you where my tables should be. Let's use this table as a placeholder. No, not the white chest. Okay. So I'm picturing this table, and we'll make it bigger. This is just to give you the relative size of the table I'm hoping for. So I'm picturing having this table right here. You see, last year we built this entire post and beam barn. You see, last year we built this entire timber frame barn, and over the last couple of weeks I've been building this hatching room so I can hatch birds here on my farm. But I also have this like little crow's nest area back here, and I dream of making it like a clubhouse for me and my friends. Like, for example, I picture us like being able to have like a poker night here, or Allison and I could have like friends over for dinner, and we could do like a on-farm dinner right here. And so in order to facilitate that, I feel like I need a nice wooden table that goes right here. And I don't want like furniture like you'd get at a furniture store, because I don't know, I feel like it would look cheesy. Everything in here is raw timber, and I feel like I want a raw timber thing. The other week, my wife and I, we actually went to Montreal, and we were at this little cafe, and I saw this table. Let me see if I can find you a picture. Ignore my photo roll, it's kind of embarrassing. Here's the table. It was at this like little Mexican cafe in Montreal, and they had this amazing wooden, simple, rustic looking table. And so I want to build something like that right here. Yes, that's what I want for a table. Like, wouldn't something like that look really cool? And now I've had this Apple Vision Pro for about a month, and I've been enjoying using it for doing a lot of work, like inside work, like office work. Like, it's my favorite way to use my computer now. And when I'm writing my book, I'm actually using this to write the book now. It's like really good for like office work. But I have not really seen anybody try to use it for any sort of like physical labor, working outside, carpentry, woodworking type of work. And so in today's video, I want to put that premise to the test. And so that's why I'm going to build that table right there, only using the Apple Vision Pro. Now, you might be hearing me say that I only want to use the Apple Vision Pro, and you're wondering what that means. Well, number one, it means I have to work the entire time while wearing the Apple Vision Pro. That means I'm going to need to figure out ways to keep my battery charged. Number two, I can't use my phone, I can't use an iPad, I can't look for instructions. Everything from a research and design perspective has to be done with this thing. And then rule number three is added difficulty. I'm not going to be allowed to use a tape measurer. I'm only going to be able to use my Apple Vision Pro for measuring. Oh dear. And yes, maybe as rule number four, I'm going to have barn cats interrupting me the whole gosh darn time. Isn't that right, Ginny? And just to give you a little bit more insight on this whole tape measuring thing. So the Apple Vision Pro actually has this app that's really cool that lets you do measurements. And so basically the way this app works is I can like say, all right, let's pinch right there to set 1 point. Whoa, Ginny, careful. I'm finding I'm a little bit clumsier around the cats. And then I can look to this point here and set the other point. That would actually say that that's pretty accurate. And so to do all of my measurements for this project, I'm going to have to use this and this alone. By the way, it also has other things, like I can actually make like my fingers a tape measure. Woo! I don't know, this might feel a little weird and awkward, but yeah, if I need to get a size of something, I can just use my fingers, which is kind of cool.
Please keep the questions ag-related.
How do I get rid of it? It's, but it's sticky though. Stop. There we go. Now, step one of this project is obviously to start designing. Let's get my table. So here we have our table. I feel like this size could get me 8 people around the table. Let me know down in the comments if you think I'm even building the size too wrong here. I think that looks pretty darn good. Now, can I use my tape measurer app at the same time as I use this? It's actually something I don't even know. Oh no, it goes away. Oh, I can only use one app at a time. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna have to figure out a more creative way to figure out my measurements for my table here. Actually, I wonder if there's a better way to do this. Let's try a different app. I like how it just keeps dropping more tables. Like I'm just making piles of furniture everywhere right now. So I do have to figure out the size of this table though, and this is actually proving to be harder than I thought. So let's see. Let's get my tape measurer app out because I do feel like this is the one that's gonna let me do what I need to do. So we're gonna say it starts here. So like 7 feet long. So like 7 feet by 4 feet. I don't know, that looks pretty appropriate. This is actually harder than I thought it was gonna be. What do you think, Pablo Barncat? It's funny, I pictured Pablo thinking that the dot is like a laser pointer, but he can't see it. Oh, Pablo does not care, and he does not seem amused with my antics either. You guys are probably not amused with my antics either, too. So I'm kind of liking using this measuring tool. Like I wouldn't use it for like woodworking like I'm gonna do right now, because it's hard to make everything square. But just for roughing something out, this feels about right. So let's just rough out our best dimensions as about 7 by 3. How are we gonna draw this? The one downside I'm finding with the Apple Vision Pro is there are not a lot of great apps that work for it yet. Like it's compatible with like a lot of iPad apps, but other things just don't seem to work as well. They have this freeform app that lets me draw. I mean, it's not terrible. Did you guys know that I went to art school? But I will just have you know that it is much harder to draw a table with your fingers pointing at the air than you might think. This is turning into a bust. All right, let's try something else. Oh, this mobile, oh right, I downloaded this last night thinking that maybe this could be an option. All right, so I start with a block and then can I move it? No, this is not gonna work. What if I try Keynote? For those of you guys not familiar with Keynote, it's basically Apple's version of PowerPoint. See, like what I'm picturing is legs that go like that. Probably want to make a brace piece. You know, this is going to be a rustic wood table, so it does not need to be like perfect. Oh, uh-oh. Undo. Okay, that. Oop. Like as you can see, it's sort of clumsy working with this, but at the same time, it's kind of fun to be like out here just gesturing, working wide like this too, so I don't mind it at all. But I have them just kind of lined up like that, then I have a brace piece like that. I'm gonna have this long piece connecting in the middle. All right, so if it's 7 feet long, and then let's convert that to inches, we've got 84 inches long. That's good for the top, and I've got what I need lumber-wise there. Then for the bottom, so let's say 4 2x12s. So to the Batmobile. There is nothing quite like driving during a Vermont mud season, but it probably bears noting right now that I am not driving while wearing the Apple Vision Pro because I think that's actually illegal. And honestly, for anybody who's watching this video, please note that I am not an expert. I'm going to be doing things and using power tools that I may or may not recommend for other people. If you try to do what I'm doing, you are doing it entirely at your own risk. And I'm going to be undertaking a few different safety practices to ensure that I don't lose a finger while making this table while wearing my Apple Vision Pro. But I just wanted to offer that word of caution to you folks as well.
Holy smokes, you guys see all those turkeys? Look at all those turkeys just wandering around. That's pretty cool. I got to admit, I'm a little bit nervous about doing this. I've actually never worn this thing out in public before. There's something very awkward about wearing a giant face computer inside a hardware store. But let's do it.
Hi there. I know, it looks kind of weird. It is. It's pretty cool. I mean, like for games, it's fun, and like for like using computer stuff, it's cool. But it's been weird because there's like you can't see it, but they can like yeah. So
I'm sure there's a whole
it's very weird. Yeah. So I need to get 8 2x8s by 12s, 4 2x12 by 12s, and then 4 2x6 by 8s. Now, in order to bring my shopping list with me, I got to carry it with me like this. All right, let's look for those screws. We're good to go. Making a video about building a table, You know, everybody was surprisingly very chill about this whole experience, and it felt way less weird than I was expecting it to. But of course, I'm the type of person who does film a lot in public, and so I'm kind of used to that part of it all, so that probably made it less weird for me. It might be totally weird for other people, I don't know. So I'm making a video about building a table. I actually think the funnier part is people are more curious about the cameras than they are of actually me wearing the headset, which goes to show you just maybe how widely accepted this stuff is going to be. Now it is time to head back to the farm, but I do have one other stop I want to make. I need to go get my morning cup of coffee. How's it going? Can I get a grande cold brew? Sure. All right, now I think this has apple paste.
Is it like really close?
I think so.
I don't know, maybe not.
I don't think it works.
All right.
Okay.
That'd be super cool.
That would have been really cool.
I feel like that would be really cool with like an AutoCAD program, like thinking through like architecture and stuff along those lines.
Completely. I feel like it's pretty cool, but it's still not
There yet.
like totally there. Everybody is surprisingly cool about this, and I feel painfully awkward, but at least I got my coffee. All right, now let's go back to the farm.
And we're back. So now I gotta schlep all this lumber upstairs. That's always fun.
A few minutes later.
You know, as I was carrying these boards up here, it kind of dawned on me, even though I was planning on making these like table length 7 feet long, it would actually be really wasteful to do that considering that I bought 12-foot pieces. And so what I'm gonna do is just actually cut all of these in half and turn them into 6-footers. I guess it's time to start measuring. I'm also gonna need a pencil, and I'm not using this for measurement, just using it to draw a straight line. So that's 6 feet 1 inches right here. Let's go over to our cutting station here. Here goes nothing. I got to admit, it's a little bit nerve-wracking using this. I don't feel like I'm at risk of cutting my fingers, but I do feel like my accuracy of cuts is off a little bit. When you're looking through an Apple Vision Pro, you're not actually looking at the real world. You're looking at a video of the real world, like looking at a car mirror, and objects in mirror might be slightly different size, and so it is a little tricky. So in theory, these two pieces are going to be about the same size, maybe, almost. Okay, they're a little bit off. I'm gonna just try to line up these two boards. I'm gonna cut just that little extra nubbin off here. Looks like about a 1 inch. That's the other thing I don't like about this tape measurer tool. It's only accurate to 1/4 of an inch. I have to make 4 more pieces of exactly that same size. There we go, beautiful. I think these are like just under 6 feet long if I had to guess. But I know that they're all the same size, and that's the part that actually matters the most. A 2x8 is actually 7.25 inches wide, and I have 6 pieces. So that equals 43.5 inches that I'm gonna need to get out to here. One of the other things I'm not quite loving about doing this is this measuring app doesn't run when I've got other apps running. I think that is right about where we want to be. I hope I'm doing this part right. This is the part that I'm most likely to screw up here. It's telling me I'm short. It's telling me it needs to be that length. Do 2 cuts, and I'm going to test it out and see which is one. I'll start with the longer one. Stop. I'm actually starting to hate this app. Like, what the? Lay out all my pieces. So there we have it. Now let's take that board that I just cut and see if it matches the length of what I wanted. It's actually still not right. Well, it looks like actually both of my measurements were off. So that was the first measurement. That was the second measurement. So let's just cut off that little piece right there. I will admit, I'm kind of clumsier with this thing on too. Now let's chickadee check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. That looks good. So I need to do another one of those. Those outer boards are the green ones are the 2 that I just cut. But I'm gonna need to actually have boards that overlap between the outside board and the inside boards that keep them all fastened together. And then when it comes time to fasten the legs, those boards will be a point that I can use to help lock everything in place. So it's gonna basically like sit underneath like that. So the 2 more pieces I have to cut are gonna be those blue pieces. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. You gotta be actually careful. Like, I could easily have knocked over that shelf that's sitting behind the plants. Because you have like the visuals of your computer screen up, they can get in the way of the real life stuff. If I'm really trying to test out the practical uses of this, it's another thing to keep in mind. So all of that said though, one thing I will say I'm still very impressed with is the ability to like operate and move the camera pretty much by use of the headset while I'm shooting. And so for a tool to make videos with, this is actually turning out to be pretty cool. It's not the best tool for carpentry. You know, I saw this video the other day actually featuring a guy who was in, I think, South Africa, and he was using an Apple Vision Pro to do building inspections.
I can see all the details in front of me in real time.
The guy said that Apple sent it to him to try out, which sounds a little suspect to me, given that they really aren't even trying to promote them outside of the United States.
I really want to thank Apple for sending me the Vision Pro.
And then also the fact that like people like Casey Neistat and Marquez Brownlee had to buy their own Apple Vision Pros has me wondering why they would send it to a random building inspector in South Africa.
Let's make this window bigger. Have a look at this, guys.
But regardless, this guy has a whole video where he goes through and uses it for his inspection. And it was kind of interesting, but I think he sort of has some of the same problems I'm having right now with how to practically apply the use of this thing in trying to build something. And that's basically what you're looking at is the underside of our table. So let's just make sure everything is lined up exactly the way I want it. 3.5, okay. Wait, was it 3.5 or 3.25? I forget. So this is actually one thing, if you're a forgetful old man like me, that could be useful. It's kind of weird watching myself from like, I don't know, 5 minutes ago. 3.5, okay. That was helpful. Just out of curiosity, I'm gonna get something to help me check this, because if I screw this up, I screw the whole build up. All right, that's pretty square. Looks like more, almost like 4 inches. Yeah, it's about 4 inches too. Okay, so despite myself, I did it pretty even. Oh no. The Apple Vision Pro just restarted. So I don't know exactly when it happened, but the headset just crashed and it turned off on me. So that kind of sucked. All right, we're back to it. Okay, there we go. So we've now successfully created the top of our table. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it actually. There's a little bit of a seam here. I might need to cover that up somehow, but otherwise I'm feeling pretty good about it. All right, so now that I've got this top, it's time to work on the legs. I want this table at its very top to be 30 inches high, so there's 1.5 inches of wood that's gonna be the top of the table. So that means I need roughly 28.5 inches long for each leg. Measuring accuracy has not been the strong suit of this project so far, so I'm a little bit nervous. Hey Pablo Barncat, how's it going, buddy? Coming to see what I'm up to? So this needs to be 28.5 inches long. Okay, so I think right here, where my finger is the spot. Now I'm gonna use the same template method that I used last time. I'm going to use this piece as the measure for all the other pieces. See, it's telling me it's now 25 3/4, 26 inches. So that means it's way off. This could be where I screw up the table royally. Oh no, I wasn't recording, at least with the Apple Vision Pro camera. This is turning into a disaster. You know, the other thing I'm really finding is it's hard to make like perfect cuts because my vision isn't as good as my regular vision. I'll probably have to insert some matchbooks underneath these legs to get it all to even out just so. They're not perfect by any means, but it's not horrible. So now I have my 4 legs. Just having them like this is probably not enough strength to keep it stable. And so we're gonna get a couple 2x6s here and use those to stabilize in between the legs. I will just simply use the pencil to figure this one out. Because if you think I'm gonna be using this godforsaken measuring app, you've clearly been watching a different video. Okay, that looks just right. I think I want to do 4 of these braces and like use it to sort of sandwich the legs in. So if I was doing like another side view of what we're going to be looking at, I'm actually getting pretty good with this thing. I'm feeling like while there's been a lot of failures in this project, the one thing that's working really well is using this. This and this working together are going to give it some strength. And I'm gonna have this be like a piece that like goes in the middle and runs the length of the table in between the other brace on the other side. So like picture like a mirror image of this. Because one of the things I find is that when you're building tables and you have tables like that, having the leg stability is one of the hardest parts. All right, so now I got all my stuff and I'm ready to go. These guys just like so. All right. I Gives me a little bit more stability. Now the tricky part is I gotta figure out how to make these be an appropriate distance away and still stick to my fair rule of not measuring. I'm going to use this screw as a measurement. Yeah, that'll work. Now let's see if I can do the other legs. Shall we flip it over and see what we got? I'm really nervous because this is kind of like the moment of truth right here. And it's also gonna be very heavy and hard for me to do by myself. Definitely feels solid. Uh-oh, I'm trapped. It's looking pretty good, actually. All right, let's check our height. 27 and a half, but I see like a little wiggle room. So I actually think I'm almost spot on for 30 inches here at the edge of this table. Overall, the top of it feels pretty regulated. That looks pretty good. It's got a little bit of a wiggle to it. Yeah. So I do want to put that brace in that I was talking about down below. I think I'm gonna actually put 2 braces in. You know, when I shortened it from 7 feet to 6 feet, it basically gave me twice as many pieces of 2x8 available. So I think I'm gonna just cut 2 pieces of 2x8 to be that length, and it should be just right. And again, I've almost completely given up using this measurement tool. I actually feel pretty good about using the pencil method. Yay, long here. Oh, it feels so much sturdier now. Oh, this feels good, yeah. What do you guys think? I don't know, I'm feeling pretty good about this. I mean, it feels like just the right size. It's perfect for the space, matches the aesthetic of the space. Now all I need are some chairs. And no, I won't be building chairs with the Apple Vision Pro. Ugh. All sweaty. Ugh. So there you have it. I have successfully built a table using only the Apple Vision Pro and power tools. It's not perfect, but it's definitely going to do the job I needed it to do. I might end up sanding it, and that will help it a little bit too. Now, for folks who are wondering about my review of this as a tool for construction, I would say it's not quite ready yet. I could see a time like 5 years from now when there's apps that are built for this type of device and it's lighter and it's less cumbersome and less glitchy. Like this could actually totally revolutionize woodworking and construction if you had everything done just right. But as of right now, I still feel like it's a work in progress. Hopefully, like, people are gonna see this video and see some of the ways that I was trying to use it and like figure out better ways to use it. Eventually, like, there's a community of people trying to build stuff using Apple Vision Pros. I'd love to see that happen. But I don't think you're seeing that happen anytime soon at a $3,500 price tag. If you guys are curious about my thoughts on the Apple Vision Pro in general and what it's gonna do for society, you should actually check out this video right here, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Thanks for watching.